Oh, well, good evening. Yes, my name is Pixels Green. You may remember me on the Batley Pride day as being the person that came on in between the acts, that did the actual work and shouted their name, so people knew who they were. It was highly skilled work, and this all took place, well, must have been maybe a year ago now, in the magical world of outside, which apparently was a thing. People could get together, and it was like a big room with no ceiling. Amazing. So basically what it was, I've been asked a number of times to do this video just with a few memories of Batley Pride, and my general work ethic is let the deadline be the motivator, and here we are. So basically my thoughts on Batley Pride were, well, first of all, I got an email from a friend of mine that just said, there's this Batley Pride going on, they're looking for an MC, do you want to do it? And I thought, yeah, okay, I'll give that a go. I mean, it's not something I tried, but I thought, come on, how hard can it be? Imagining that it would be some kind of an evening style comedy affair, which is more generally my area. Turned out that wasn't the case, but anyway, off I went on the morning of the day with my little packed lunch and my flask of weak lemon drink, and got a taxi to Batley from Leeds, and the taxi dropped me off at the back entrance of the park, where absolutely nothing was happening. Nothing whatsoever. Couldn't hear anything. There was no clues of anything. It was nice, but it was a bit of empty park. There's some sort of a stately home off to the side, and immediately I started thinking, have I been set up here? Which is kind of arrogant, isn't it, really? Because if someone is going to go to the trouble to trick me with the whole festival, who would make that effort? You know, just clock me upside the head, and that's me, egg on my face. Sometimes quite literally, if you have an egg. So, bit worried. Now, so I set off walking, basically looking around for signs of anything, and I set off walking down this path, and as a bit of a side thing here, years and years and years ago, this is like, I'm older than dirt, but there was a restaurant in Batley Park called the Boathouse Bistro Restaurant. It was very posh, and that was where I had my first job, and every time I would go to work I would get dropped off, and I'd see this big ornate tunnel that led off into this wonderful mystery wilderness of trees, and I always thought, I wonder what's in there. So as I was walking through this windy, really quite lovely path through Batley Park, I was thinking, have I got the right day? Oh God. And also thinking, I know what's up in this path now. So there was a little bit of a link to the past, if you will. Anyway, got to the front of the park, and thank goodness there were people there, there were things being set up, and there was evidence of some sort of a jamboree going on, which is kind of, you know, what we were after. So I got introduced to the acts. I got asked if I could do any singing, and no, not unless everybody wants to be driven from the park by a series of caterwauling noises. And but once we got everything set up, basically I got the running order of the acts, and basically, you know, I had to introduce them each time. Now, there are a few problems with this. First of all, I had these really cheap worn shoes on, which had no grip at all, and so I couldn't stand on the stage because the stage was slippy. Now, bit of slapstick would have been a great laugh, but I would have done myself in, and that weren't happening. So basically everything I had to do was on the patch of grass in front of the stage. And now usually I do what is some sort of grasping towards comedy, and the idea that I could drop a few bits in between the acts when I first accepted the job seemed very palatable. Trouble now, it was early afternoon. There were kids as young as 3 and 4 walking about with ice creams, And the last thing you want in that situation is me yapping, because something is going to get said and it wouldn't be good. It wouldn't be, awful, but it wouldn't be suitable for 3-year-old kids with an ice cream. They don't need that sort of thing in their life. Anyway, so I was beginning to wonder, well, what can I do? I mean, I can't just come out and say the name of someone and then go off. I've got some time to fill. So I had the bright idea, right, of going around the stalls in the, it was an original idea that I came up with in the fair, and just kind of, getting to know what they're doing to give them the big shout out. And that was brilliant, because I got to feel like a minor royal. It was like, how are you doing? Oh, that is marvellous work, and you enjoy it? Oh, that is wonderful. Well, you're doing amazing work. Backbone of the country, marvellous. And basically, if you can live your life doing that, do it. If you get, fill the CV in. So there was that, and basically the day went pretty well. There was some great acts on, and I came in and kind of just did my bit in between, slightly nervously and kind of thinking, oh God, get it done. And it kind of went very well. Things that I did achieve, I managed to get an Alan Partridge quote in, which I intended to do right from the start. There was the local fire brigade just doing their usual fair thing of, just look at the fire engines. Great, innit? And it was, to be fair. And I managed to do the Alan Partridge quote of the fire, the fair's on fire. And probably nobody noticed, but I really enjoyed it. And other than that, no, it was really good. And on the way home, I treated myself to a Magnum, which was a sign of a job well done. So there it is. Sadly, no Batley Pride this year, though just because it's not in a park don't mean it's not happening. Batley Pride is the pride that put the Batley in Pride, so where it belongs. So, think on. And that's it. So if you have any questions, by all means, at Pixels Green on Twitter, fire them at me, and 2 or 3 weeks, I might answer them. Yeah. Have a good evening, and be safe, be well, and keep dreaming of that magical time when we can see the outside again. Big room, no ceiling.